Hello, welcome to another episode of XenoChat. I am one of the hosts, Tyler, along with one of the other hosts, Justin.
Hey everyone.
Alright, and we have a big cast today. So one of our first guests is Mary.
Rip.
Alright.
I'm sorry.
Sorry. No, you're fine. And then we have Nick.
Yeah, I'm here.
And David.
Hey.
And new guest, Robin.
Hi, me, Robin. Hi.
Oh gosh, I'm so sorry about that.
Me too.
Anyway, welcome to today's episode. Today's topic is going to be over mini games in the Xeno series. Before we get into that, we'll just kind of go over our usual stuff. First, we'll just kind of gloss over what Molosoft / Xeno related news there is available. As far as I know, there was Molosoft had a really nice party for the 20th anniversary. It looked really, really cool, spiffy. I know people were like over analyzing the Tora, or not Tora, the Tatsu like plushie that was there. Like it was like gray instead of green. I don't know.
But it was cute.
It was cute.
It was cute. They need to sell those.
They
I
do.
know.
Especially Ricky. They need to sell Ricky.
They need to sell Ricky. They
It's
need
like-
to just sell more
Sell
merch in
all
general.
the no pods. I want the
I just mean
pods.
actual Ricky. Just give me that 40-year-old man.
Yo, like Monolith, Nintendo, bring more Xeno merch. You guys don't realize the fortune you're sitting on right now because there's enough idiot Xeno fans out there that will buy your overpriced shitty merch. You released that Pyra statue and that
Yep.
Mithra statue. They were expensive as hell.
And
They
that's
were
soon to
limited.
come Cosmos.
And the
Yes.
Cosmos. The Cosmos was really expensive too. That was like over $200. And you know what? We bought them. So, what does that tell you? That tells you that you need to get off your ass, that we're shills, and you need to get off your ass and continue to feed our sick addiction.
Yes.
I want a Xeno Nendroid.
None of our
This
lovely
podcast-
listeners are idiots, though, of course.
Oh no,
This
they're
podcast is
absolutely
not
idiots for
sponsored by
listening to
Molotov.
us.
I mean,
We're all Zohar-brained.
I love you guys.
I love you and every.
and all you guys.
Yeah.
Get the line right, Jesus.
I'm so sorry. I should just.
You didn't have a
Get
good
outta
lead-in for it, to be fair.
Oh my gosh. Besides that, had a lot of anniversaries. There was Xenoblade 2's 2-year anniversary, and Xenoblade X's 4-year anniversary
Mhm.
for North America and Europe. So that was pretty great. Did anybody play either of those for their anniversaries?
Actually, yes, I played both of them.
Nice. I didn't.
I
Yeah, I
didn't
didn't
either.
make it
I
to
wrote a
it.
fanfic. Does that count?
Yes,
Yeah,
that does
that's
count. It's
something.
more than what the
Yeah.
other two did.
That's like the extra mile in my book.
Exactly.
It's like
I just played a
in
game. You actually
celebration.
wrote something.
I did. It was supposed to be sweet, but then I was like, oh wait, actually this is sad, which I think happens a lot when you write.
It went dark.
Yeah.
I also
then,
want to
well-
say I'm a little bit surprised that, like, well, not surprised that people overall analyze the Tatsu thing, but almost more
Uh-huh.
surprised they're like, why was it Tatsu?
Yeah.
Right?
I didn't
A
hear
lot of people
anybody
hate
say
Tatsu.
that, and I know a lot of people that just hate Tatsu, and I get it, but, you know.
Yeah.
But he's like very mascot-y in a way that like Ricky and Tora aren't. Like,
Speaking of Tora,
he has no function beyond that. Sorry.
speaking of, don't worry about it. Speaking of Tora, I guess like since I mentioned I was playing Xenoblade 2, something that I did was I finally S-ranked Poppy Cutie Pie. Finally did it. She's now S+. The last thing I needed to do in order to complete her chart was to do 250 driver combos, and I did it.
Woohoo!
Oh my god.
That's insane.
I salute you.
I am saluting.
I don't know how loud this clapping is, so I'm doing it very softly.
Has anybody else done the Herald one where you have to do 250 last blows on the enemy with an art?
Oh, hell no. Dude,
Yeah,
like,
I did that.
I'm fine with Harold, I just have to get her to trust me. Harold doesn't trust me. Nobody trusts me.
Oh.
Well, I got you a place to grind that out if you want it.
I literally got Cosmos, and then I was done.
I need 2 more blades, and then I have all of them, and then I'm a Pokemon master.
Crystalmon Master.
I was about to start singing the Digimon song. I'm so sorry.
You're fine. Oh yeah, and Kaitos also celebrated its 16th anniversary, which isn't Xeno related, but I thought I'd bring it up.
It's thematically
Cosmos is in
similar.
it, so
there you go. It's the same
there.
game. It's the same
It's
game.
there.
Takahashi's mind was involved.
So, should we hear the story of our new guest?
yes,
Yes.
Robin, what is your Xeno history?
I feel like everybody had like this really emotional history, and my history is when I was turning 9, my parents were like, "Hey, we're gonna get you a game console," and my brother, who's 7 years older than me and therefore the coolest person on the planet, said, "You want to get a PlayStation?" And I'm like, "The coolest person told me I want a PlayStation. Hell yeah, I do." And then he got Xenogears saying, "No, I think you'll like this game," which meant he wanted it, and he wanted me to kind of use my money for it. But that's fine. So I was 9 years old when I'm saying play in quotation marks. I just watched my brother play the whole thing. And it cursed my interests and ruined my life.
So young.
I was way too young for that game.
And
I should not
totally
have been
know that
playing
brother
it so young. It God. Anyway, so I have a fun anecdote to lead to the topic if we'd like. But
By all means.
Oh yeah,
yeah, so I don't really have cool stories for the rest of them. The rest of them is just I saw Xeno and bought the game. I think I just blacked out and
Fair
had
enough.
a copy of Xenosaga. I'm like,
I mean, my
this is in my
story
house
was
now.
just kind of long-winded, so that was
that's how I bought Xenoblade 1. So
But so like I said, I was 9 years old playing Xenogears, and I loved this game so much that I taught my friends how to play the card game from it, so we could all
my God.
play that together because I just loved this game so damn much.
oh my gosh,
So I don't know if that's cringy or cute, but there it is.
I think it's just cruel, really.
I would call that impressive.
I loved
actually.
that game, alright? I thought it was a blast to play. Because when you're not playing against a computer, it's fun, and also the game Spit does exist. Which is
Yeah.
slightly different.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
true.
remember how it's different, I just remember that it is different.
It's kind of
we're blocked.
interesting
1,
to
2.
see card games thrown into RPGs at that time, because I know like FF8 was also out around that time, and that also had a card game too, which I believe they actually released the cards in real life.
Yeah.
I could have sworn my brother had a friend who actually did have like a deck of them. Because
FF9
I remember-
also had a card game as well.
Yeah, but those were way harder to play, and you couldn't teach them to your stupid idiot elementary school friends.
Oh my god.
Well, when I
We
was
need
in
to have-
high school, they had this game called Speed, and that's what that game kind of is like.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it
yeah.
blew my mind when I played it yesterday. I was like, oh my god, I played this game in high school. Because I didn't play Xenogears in top to high school. I was like, what?
You know what? How about this? This is what we can do for this. So, Robin,
Yes.
since you are the master at this game, why don't you explain to our listeners how the fuck we even play it?
Okay, so it doesn't actually have an official name, but oh god, my stupid idiot 9-year-old self just called it Men of the Sea.
Amazing.
Which
I
I
just
wish I
called it
hadn't
1, too.
remembered. My life was a little bit better when I let that be a forgotten fact. Anyway, you play with like a standard deck of cards, and each person gets half the deck, and you have from your personal deck you deal out 4 cards in front of you, and then you each put 1 card in the middle, and then from that card in the middle you want to go either 1 up or 1 down, and then you build off, and whoever gets rid of their deck the fastest is the winner. So it's actually a pretty easy game to teach people, and it only takes a standard card deck, not like whatever FF8's using. I can't play that with my poker deck.
Hey, we could have a card game tournament at Katsu.
I'll lose.
God.
My hands hurt so bad.
Like, I played a lot of card games when I was younger, but I forgot all of them, so it would be a challenge to try and remember how it works.
I mean, it's a simple game. It's just playing solitaire pyramids with yourself, with other people, except not with other people. Solitaire you play by yourself. That's in the name.
The caveat to all this is you have to use a PlayStation controller.
So about this too, like I think the only I've not played very many of those card games that were just like real time, not taking turns whenever I was younger, I guess. But more recently, I actually played a game called Pit that kind of reminded me of this, except for it's like trade as fast as you can and get like the most of a certain card, like a material card. But it wasn't played with these kind of cards either. And I can't remember the name of the other one that I played that was just like real time card game. But this one, man, I don't know how anybody beat this because I actually had to like press the pause button a lot to check. Okay, what do I got here? And so basically I pause scummed it.
That's smart.
I just got Citan and just ran real fast.
I don't think I ever won a match in the card game in Xenogears.
Oh, you never got to hear the awesome like winning quotes then?
No, just all the losing ones.
Just like choo-choos. Yeah, yay!
We're gonna have to insert those quotes here a little bit, but I get the Faye one stuck in my head of losing because I heard it so much. It's not over yet.
It's not over yet.
It's interesting because I'm pretty sure for most of the characters, those are the only voice lines that they even have.
Yeah, the only one
Yeah.
Actually, like, their line gets used multiple times is Bart saying jerk when he...
Jerk!
Yeah.
But in other, God, I was such a sad 9-year-old, like, stories, I had audio files for all of the winning and losing quotes, and those were just randomly in my music shuffle list. So...
You still have those files?
I sadly don't. Though now I'm kind of terrified. No, I don't. I only have, like, saved pictures. I never save those, which is a shame.
You listening to melodramatic teen angst music now, and then all of a sudden, jerk!
You get to the end.
I was listening to J-pop, I'll have you, and metal.
I was gonna say, those losing lines went really well after the end of a Linkin Park song.
Yeah. Oh Lord, please forgive these sinners. That was great.
Yeah,
So I used to have all of the lines
We are so
memorized,
lost.
and
Oh Lord, please forgive these sinners.
I'm glad I'm starting off on a high note of I do a lot of cool things and played many sports.
The only sport I played was the card game in Xenogears.
That was a great impression of me. Real good.
Well, you did have to do a lot of running in that card game, because look how big those cards are.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
If they
I
made an
forgot you had to
actual scale
actually
version of
move.
the card game, I would suddenly be really bad at it.
Honestly, I still lost most of the time even pause scumming because I couldn't run fast enough to the card across the thing that I needed to play.
That's why you have to play as Citan.
He actually runs faster?
Citan. Yeah, he runs faster.
I did not know that.
I think him and Emeralda ran faster and were easier to play the game with.
See, by the time I had Emeralda, I didn't play the game anymore.
That's a weird way to say you kept playing the game because it was so much fun.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not the card game.
You just brought me on the show because I'm the only one who's going to speak up in defense of this card game.
I thought it was cool,
Basically.
but I always lost.
To be honest, I don't dislike it. but it was just real, really
Yeah,
difficult.
it didn't really like pique my interest too much, which is weird because, funny enough, like mini games were always like the most exciting thing to me as a kid for some reason. Like if I ever played like an RPG and there was a mini game, I would always be like immediately more hyped for it. Like there were so many nights where I would literally turn on like FF7 just to play like the mini games and like the Gold Saucer.
Oh, Gold
Well,
Saucer.
that also had like really great music, so
That too. So like Gears, the card game itself, it never really grabbed me. I did play it for some of the voice acting, and I did kind of find it interesting since there was more than one opponent for it too. And I think like some of them were like harder than others. But the one minigame in Gears that really grabbed me was the fighting one. Like once you get into Kislev, and then in Kislev, it was in Nortune. I think that was the name of the place.
Nocturne?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Was it Nortune or Nocturne? I don't know.
I think it's
Nortune.
Nortune.
It's Nortune. Yeah.
Yeah, Nortune.
Okay.
Yep.
I might have just been making it a word.
I'm looking at the guide right now. It was in Nortune.
Okay.
Man,
Yeah, I remember when I first played the game.
Whole time.
Nah, it's not Nocturne. Not Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne.
It's easy
It's
to
Nortune.
confuse for that because
Always
I was
confused.
looking at the word and confused it a few times. I was like, no.
Yeah,
it's
I think because your brain just goes, well, I know the word nocturne, let me just put that one there.
There's a name for that when you look at a word and then like your mind just inserts letters to like auto. It's like your own inner autocomplete. It's weird.
I'm often like this, but more because I have two languages in my hands, so if I say a word that looks too French, I usually try to say it in French first, and I'm like, oh wait.
Oh yeah, the bilingual #bilingual problems. That's a big one. Ever since I learned French as a kid, I've had that issue, and it just got worse as I got older when I started learning other languages too. But yeah,
But tell me about this fighting game.
Yeah, the fighting game. This blew my mind. I remember when I was playing Gears, and then I finally got to the tournament part, and then like the game suddenly changed, and it became like this fighting game where I could actually control the robots. And that blew my mind. I was like, "What? This is crazy!"
Yeah.
Like you could run around the arena. So basically, this is like a one-on-one fighting game where you could play as the Gears and just fight each other. And it is part of the story. You do have to win it, and actually, that's kind of funny. There's a section in the strategy guide that says, "Can you lose?" ? And it says, quote, "Absolutely. If Faye loses 2 rounds in a row against the same opponent, he's dumped back into the arena office." So, yeah, so it's not a scripted battle. You can actually lose it. That's interesting.
Huh.
I won it, of course, but like, because I'm good. But like, what's really interesting about this minigame was that if you come back to Kislev, like, after that event happens, you can actually access that minigame again, and there's a lot more to it. So it's not just like a one-off, okay, you just play this little fighting mode. They went like the whole 9 yards with this. There's a training mode. There's a 2-player versus mode. There's a tutorial mode. And the training mode is interesting because you can actually change the frame rate. You could change it from 30 frames per second to 20, and I think 10 and 15 frames are also available as well. And there's also frame data. There's a basic combo system too. You get 2 attack buttons, a jump button, a dash button, and an ether button. The ether button just lets you shoot it's like a key blast from like Dragon Ball. And I counted like 47 characters, something like that.
Yeah, there's a ridiculous
Is that
amount.
before
That's like an
or
insane
after
amount of
you
characters.
unlock Ellie's mini Omni Gear? Because I know that I think there are 2 unlockable gears for that.
It wouldn't surprise you because I know you can play as Xenogears in it as well.
Yeah,
because I remember doing that back in the day.
Elvirge, is that her gear?
Is that the name of her upgraded one?
You can actually play as like almost pretty much any gear in the game.
I think
you cannot
so.
play as Weltall Id, which, God,
you
going back
can
to
play as
dumbass
Weltall.
10-year-old me on forums, did ask if you could. No.
Oh, really?
Yes.
But yeah, there's a lot of characters. It's almost overwhelming how many characters are in this game. And there's also a weird mode called the
you
Rubber
can also play the
Band
Rancor
mode.
Dragon and the Worm.
Oh, and they all actually play kind of differently too, and some of them I would almost say don't feel balanced at all.
No,
You didn't
there's
feel
no
really
real...
powerful as Repair Bot?
Yeah, it's obviously not the most balanced game out there,
Yeah,
but it's interesting to see that like they actually put quite a bit of effort into this weird one-off mini game, and you wouldn't even know it unless you actually bother to go back and try it out again.
Yeah, actually,
Yeah,
I never actually went back because like the story's so crazy and bringing you left and right. But to be honest, the little I played during the story was so fun. Like I really enjoyed that mini game.
Yeah,
I
it's a
went back
really
like it
cool
as a
mini
big
game.
controller.
And like
Yeah,
the
you can-
environment's
yeah, it's
super
two-player.
huge, and there are all like these little like things in the environment that affect the gameplay. Like if you're in the water, you'll cool down faster, but you're slower. And then if you're in the desert, you're faster, but your gear will overheat.
But the only thing
A lot
that's
of
kind
little
of
nifty
the
details.
only thing that's kind of like weird about it is the arenas are really large, so you can actually you can run around freely. It's almost kind of like Soul Calibur in how you can move around.
Yeah.
You can move around freely, and the thing is, it's really easy for the two players to just kind of like run off in their own direction.
That's why they made rubber band mode.
Exactly. So rubber band mode essentially puts this quote unquote rubber band between you and the other player, and it makes it so that if you go too far, you just kind of like snap back together.
But
It's
that's
like
the beauty. It wasn't even like a theory. Like they put a rubber. There's a animation for the rubber band.
yeah,
It has sprites.
it's really janky, but it's also
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of funny too.
So
But yeah,
the
it's
thing
a
that you
really-
do if you're having a hard time in a battle is you just hit the speed button and you just run in circles around them, and they'll get so confused.
You run really fast, and then you just shoot energy balls at them.
Yes.
It's just like I did it.
You
I'm
just
doing
wait
so
for it
good
to
at
charge.
fighting.
You wait
But
for it
I
to
think
recharge
you
while
can also-
running.
I think there's also a juggling system too. So like you can, because I know you can knock some enemies in the air, and it wouldn't surprise if you could juggle it. I think there was like a video that had like combos or something like that, because there is a very basic combo system in here too.
Yeah, the combos
So-
are small.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's basic, but it's there, and it's just impressive to see that kind of effort put into something that's not even like a huge part of the game. It's like in the whole scope of Xenogears, like that whole tournament section is like maybe 30 minutes of the game.
It's pretty short.
Yeah,
It's short, but if you're bad at it, it's like probably feels like it's dragging.
Also, I was going to kind of compare it to another game. If you want to know how this plays and you don't have access to it or don't know how it plays, basically, if you've ever played one of those like Naruto Ultimate Ninja games or whatever, or like just about any of those arena fighter games that like CyberConnect makes or something, it kind of reminds me of that a little bit, except for just a little more scaled down with the free roamingness of it.
I've
feel
never
that.
played those, I can't say.
I can kind of see it. Yeah.
Because they're not like, it's not like a typical fighting game where you're just like side to side and going up against each other more directly. It's like comparing All-Star Battle JoJo to Eyes of Heaven JoJo, almost. The difference, you know. It's more like the Eyes of Heaven style, if that makes sense to anybody.
Xenogears Arena Battle at Evo Win.
God.
honestly, I'm surprised there isn't like a small community for it, because again, like there's actual game mechanics here.
They play Catherine competitively there.
Yeah, they do. So I don't understand why. You know what? Why don't we start it?
Let's bring it back.
We should do that. How about it? We can have a tournament at Katsucon. I'll bring my PS1. I'll bring the game.
Like, is Xenogears banned because, like, too overpowered? Is this, like, going to be a Final Destination worm only?
Oh my god.
Xenogears versus Xenogears every stage, because that's just the best one in there.
Well, there's only one stage, but...
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Wait, why were we talking about different like environments doing different things if there's only one stage? That's
no, there's
all I
only one
remember
stage,
too.
but, like, it's huge, and, like, there's...
It's
like,
a huge environment.
You can go
It's
in the
really
water,
big.
you can go in the desert, it's great.
Oh, I guess I never went out of the desert then.
Why?
I don't know. I didn't realize there were other environments over there. I saw like some of the mountains and stuff and the water, but I don't
You didn't
remember
just
that.
explore and we're like, oh my god, this place is huge?
I should have just went in 2-player mode and used both controllers to make to go over in those directions.
You can get your gear real tiny. It's great. It's a great game.
You can. I've seen that. That's actually what I did with 2 controllers myself once. But I didn't see that a bunch of the other stuff anyway.
So some less great games, I say, moving the topic on.
Yeah.
In transitional sentence.
Before we do, can
let's
I ask
segue.
one thing
Yeah.
real fast?
No.
Sure.
Yes.
Was there
Oh.
like a trash compactor bot in that mode?
There's like the repair bot.
Okay, I thought there was another one
He's
that
just
looked
kind of
like
janky, and he looks like he's made of trash.
Can you play with Ramses' bot?
Yeah,
You can? What?
pretty sure.
I've been
yeah.
living a lie.
You could play as like a bunch that you wouldn't expect because there was like
There's a
some really...
lot of characters in that.
I think you can play as the Elements bot even.
I think you can definitely play as Dominion's bot. I
Yeah.
don't know
Totally
for
have a
certain
reason
about
to
the
boot
others,
up
but that one I do
Xenogears
know.
tonight. Definitely gonna boot it up.
I
See
do
what's
know
up.
you can play as the Rancor Dragon if you just have dinosaur fantasies that you need to act out.
I actually tried that
Mm.
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry I messed up your incredible segue.
Oh, no.
No,
It was just that there was a pause, so I was like, let me segue into the games that earn you badges.
Yeah, rock, paper, scissors. Anybody?
Yeah.
Did anybody
No,
get the badge?
I wanted to continue the game.
I think that was one.
I
of
got
the...
to a point where I'm like, I'm done with your shit. Bye.
I actually got that badge. I think there was like I think I got 2 of 3 badges whenever I played.
Yeah,
so
I got
there's
the
rock,
badge
paper,
too.
scissors
But
badge, the hide and seek badge, and
I did get the hide and seek badge.
the some other kids game badge.
Tag or
Is it-
something? I don't remember.
Is there a tag?
I don't recall. That might have been
Right
the hide and
in.
seek
Tell
one
us
I'm
what the
thinking
third
of.
badge is, and that we're dumb for not remembering it. I do know that Faye had unique sprites for rock, paper, scissors, and I thought that was a cute detail.
Yeah, it was.
How many times did you have to win to get the badge?
Was it like 5? It was some absurd number that just wasn't worth it, and you're like, I have to go and eat food now with Yui. Bye.
What happened to best out of 3?
3? See, 3 sounds reasonable, but then I remember I was a 9-year-old baby, and I'm like, no, it's fine. I was clearly too impatient for this.
oh, I just googled it. It is tag badge. That was the
Oh.
third one.
Hey, I remember.
Now you don't have to write into us.
But you still can if you want. Just berate
I can't
us
believe you had
for
to
not
Google
knowing.
that.
Be gentle.
Just email us at XenoChat at americaonline.com.
Somehow
I
I
mean,
thought you were just going to
no.
end it at america.com.
America.com. Geocities
Yeah, there's-
page.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not really much to talk about rock, paper, scissors, because
No, it's just rock,
That's-
paper,
that's-
scissors.
It's pretty
that's it.
simple, yeah.
I did get the other 2, and then, like, if you get all the badges, then you go to the magical choo-choo village. They give you stuff, and that's about it.
yeah, that's what I remember, and it's just like, was it worth it?
But
No.
guys, how do I play rock, paper, scissors?
So, it's
a
actually
classic.
really
It's a
confusing.
classic. Oh man, best graphics of all time. You don't even understand.
And then the
It's a-
other mini game, I actually, this is funny, didn't know about these until years later. Like, I went to go read a walkthrough of Xenogears and then learned that there were mini games in the balloon tent, and I'm like, there was a tent, I could go into the tent. I just thought he gave me a balloon, and then I walked away.
I think
Which, just for all my obscure, stupid knowledge, that it took me years to learn that.
I think
You'll like it if you
back
like the
then I
platform.
actually tried it once, but then I was like, question mark, and I left.
Yeah, I remember it. I mostly remember it because you could also, get drunk at that.
Oh,
Town
yeah.
fair.
Yeah, so
That's-
this is at the fair in Ava that you can go to,
Yeah.
and just before you rescue Margie.
Right.
Oh
and
yeah, where you can
there are
breathe
fun
fire.
carnival games that you can play with balloons. Also, you can get a balloon, and then if you leave the area, the balloon flies away.
That's sad.
It is sad. You watch your
Yeah.
balloon
Yeah.
go away, and you're like, no, I just wanted to tote that around for the rest of the game. Come
You know
back.
what? Like, for a second, I was gonna ask, like, when in the game was that? But then that balloon thing, like, I just had a flashback of that, and now I completely remember that. Oh my
When you
goodness.
mentioned
Yeah,
the
there's
fair,
like
I
a
remembered.
demi-human sitting outside a tent, and he will give you a balloon, and you can go
Yeah.
inside and play games. And there are 2 games there's the balloon popping game, where you jump around and you pop balloons, and then there's the give balloons to children game, which is, like, fine, except when you think about it too hard.
Don't think about it.
So did this demi-human kidnap all of these kids and give them balloons? And now he's dropping them from the ceiling, and he's like, just give them their balloons back so they can float away. Like, do they reset? Do they live in the ceiling now?
You gotta understand it was the 90s.
I have questions about this game.
Exactly, David. It was the 90s.
It was the 90s.
And that was the 90s when children lived in the ceiling?
Yes, it was the 90s. You just accept
That
it
was
and
actually
let it
Willy
go.
Wonka's place.
That's how I lived in the 90s.
Were the children willing participants of this?
Whenever I was bad, my parents kept me
I
in
have
the
so many
ceiling.
questions about the game.
I do as well. Like, whenever I saw that, I was like, what?
I forgot they were
that
there.
killed me.
Because Astral Chain has a similar, like, give balloons to people game, but they're running in a straight line on the ground like people do. And you give them a balloon, that's fine. They then continue to walk like a people. And this is like, I threw children into the ceiling and they're gonna fall down now. Give them a balloon so they can fly. Except it's their own balloon that they already had, but they dropped it, so it shouldn't lift them anymore. Because it shouldn't have... Anyway, so that's that game. I never actually played it. How is it?
Faye's first summer job had an interesting twist.
Are there other demi-humans that are just constantly pushing the children?
You just gotta not think about it. I mean, like, it follows Squaresoft's balloon logic. Like, remember the ending to Chrono Trigger? Where Chrono is holding Marl and he flies away with balloons, and then they literally, like, fly, like, over lands and oceans? How do you think they got down? I don't know. You don't think about it. It's a cute ending, so whatever.
No, dude, that reminds me of Grease, where they fly off in the car at the end.
Oh my
And it's like,
God.
why?
Are you actually expecting Grease to make sense?
No.
Yes, I did not know this to make
But
sense.
it's
That
so
was your first
funny, they
mistake.
just fly off in the car, and I'm just like, why? Why are they flying in a car?
My brain is trying to remember it. It's failing.
Again, folks, this is 90s Square logic. You don't put too much thought into it, you just accept it.
I mean, except the balloons making them fly, but, like, why are they falling down? Why do they just keep tumbling down, tumbling down, tumbling down?
There's just not a happy ending to this, I think.
That whole...
This is actually the saddest game.
That reminded me of that whole area, which actually reminds me of Chrono Trigger in general, because of the fair thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
also-
it really reminds me of that too.
Also brings to mind, you brought up the drinking thing, and it's not a
Yeah.
mini-game thing, but, like, didn't they call the beer, like, Bartweiser or something?
Yep, Bartweiser.
Yes,
Great.
yes.
Oh my God.
Which is a shame, because
Yeah.
Budweiser's bad. I'm sorry
Yeah.
that Bart has to be associated with such a bad beer.
Well, in the 90s, they didn't have obscure craft beers that were well-known,
But they had
so...
better than Bud.
True.
This episode of XenoChat brought to you by Bartweiser.
This episode of XenoChat will never be sponsored by Bud now. I've ruined it.
That's fair. I don't. That's fine.
We didn't want you,
That
Bud.
is absolutely fine. What are you talking about?
I'm about to need a Bartweiser.
All right. Shall we move on from Xenogears to Xenosaga Episode 1?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
We can try.
All right. Shall we get into the behemoth that is Xenosaga's card game?
So remember how I was saying
really
how Gears was fun because like you could just play it by yourself alone?
Yeah.
And it was
Yeah.
And you could just use a deck that you had? Yeah, you can't do that with Xenosaga. You need the special deck. And you can't just quickly teach it to your friends. And
Special deck.
again, a person who was me, who loved the first game, I was like, oh man, a card game, this is gonna be great. No, it wasn't great. It was terrible.
Yeah, that game has like a huge tutorial and there's so many rules. It in different phases. It reminds me of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or yeah, it mostly reminded me of Yu-Gi-Oh! But I played Xenosaga card game first, and then when a friend was trying to teach me Yu-Gi-Oh! I was like, hey, this seems familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And then when a friend was trying to teach me Yu-Gi-Oh! I was like, hey, this seems familiar. Yeah, that game has like a huge tutorial and there's so many rules. It in different phases. It reminds me of like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or
Yeah, the
Yeah.
concept seems a bit familiar, but at the same time, it feels so complicated. I was just like, too much
Yeah.
information.
It's like that TCG you see your friend playing, but you know you're not going to be into it because it's too complicated.
Yeah.
That's Xeno
Yeah.
card right there. It's like, why am I even bothering?
It's like how I collected Pokemon cards, but I never played the Pokemon card game.
And
You just
what's really
collect
interesting
them
about it is
disappear.
that this card game literally exists alongside the main game. So you can actually build your deck and you can get like booster packs, and those are random.
Yeah.
So they're and there's over 100 cards to this game, by the way. So
Mhm.
you're collecting them as you're playing the game itself. So you could just say, screw the main game, I'm just going to play this card game, and you could get hours out of it because there's so much for you to collect. There's so many rules there. And there's different game modes as well. It also is multiplayer. You can play with a friend in that one. And there's a tournament mode. There's just like, I think there's also a one-off match mode too. There's just so much going on with this card deck. And I'm looking at like, I'm going through the strategy guide as I'm talking here. And man, like, there's so many phases. So there's a draw phase, a move phase, event phase, set phase, block phase, battle phase, and adjust phase.
It's a
Let's see.
lot.
I'm trying to. Yeah,
So
it is
how
a
did
lot.
the
It's like
game
I
compare
would
to, like-
read the rules right now, but like even just in the strategy guide, there's just so much text here.
There are different card types, there are different attack types. You can put a gun on a person, and now the person has a gun. That's cool. But how did that compare to like the card games in FF8 and FF9? Because
Well,
all
this
of
is-
those I just kind of put at. This is way above
Oh.
my
I don't
head.
know
This is
too
far
much.
more complex than the FF8 one.
I
in
don't
my
know too
opinion.
much about the 8th one, but I can say the 9th one is not that complex once you know how it works. It's not.
Yeah, Triple Triad from Final Fantasy VIII was not nearly as complicated. Like,
Okay.
when they throw in, I mean, the card game in Final Fantasy VIII can get a little complicated with, like, additional rules, but nowhere near this complicated.
Okay. Because, yeah, I just was like, this is too many rules. This is supposed to be a fun side thing for me to do, not a job.
That seems to have
I mean, I
happened.
would totally just collect the cards if I could, if they were available in real life.
There's a lot. According to this, oh my goodness, how many? According to this, there are 40 opponents,
Wow.
Wow.
if I'm reading this correctly.
Holy crap.
Yeah, and it's just like, and the strategy guide is showing like what kind of cards that they'd play in each one. Yeah, this is insane.
So that's the card game.
Yeah.
None of us played it.
I'm glad you guys know a little bit about it because I sure didn't.
I really,
didn't play it
really
a whole
wanted to
lot
like-
either, but
Like, I
Yeah,
played
I
through all of
really, really
Xenosaga
wanted to
1
like-
and missed a lot of those minigames.
Yeah, that's the thing about Xenosaga Episode 1. It has some really good mini games in it, but they're kind of like, I don't want to say buried, but they don't really come up
Yeah.
in like naturally into the story or
It's
anything like that.
For
drill
example,
game does.
the mech game, I had no idea it existed. And when you guys brought it up, I was like, wait, what? That was a thing?
I didn't
Yeah.
at first either, and I actually just like I tried to go back to it. I looked
Okay, well,
into
let's
it.
we can
talk about-
that. Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk
So-
about it.
There's a robot game in this too, much like Xenogears, except that this one, I think they model it after Virtual On. It's more of like, yeah, it's like if you're
Yeah.
actually like a Virtual On kind of game, then it's
Mhm.
closer to that. And
Yeah.
there's a few stages that you can play. I think there's a single player, yeah, where you have to do like, okay, so you have 4 stages that you can play, and each of them give you like these different missions for you to do as well. And it's, what's this? Huh. Listen to what the strategy guy says. When you beat the 4th stage of combat, you win the game. There is no prize for winning except for the fun of combat and the thrill of winning itself.
Huh.
Isn't
I
that
wanted a
lovely?
medkit.
See, even the strategy guy says this is thrilling, so that means you guys gotta play it. There's a whole bunch of robots you can play as in there too. Like, I think you can play as pretty much any of the eggs.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and oh my goodness, the weapon list in this is insane.
Wow.
Yeah, if I
Why is there
remember
so much?
correct, if I remember correctly, you had to like in order to unlock some of the other eggs, you have to basically buy the ones at one of the stores. Because there's like what 2 or 3 eggs that were like that you could buy extra, and then that's how you would get them in the mini game.
Kind of feels like a missed opportunity not letting you unlock them in the game or something like that, rather than paying in-game money for them.
Yeah.
Better than out-of-game money.
Oh, and it looks like this is also 2-player as well. I never
Yeah.
played this in multiplayer either, so like, yeah, this is all like kind of new to me because I didn't remember this one up until much later, and then I was like going through the strategy guide and seeing this all in here, and I'm just and I don't remember like ever really spending a whole lot of time playing this, and I kind of wish I did because I feel like I would have really liked this.
Yeah, I feel like I might have like asked my brother to play with me like a few times, and then he wasn't into Xenosaga like I was, so that didn't go over too well. So I didn't really play multiplayer that much.
Sniffles.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really, really interesting mini game, and it's kind of just like Gears. It's crazy how much detail and like effort was put into this, and how much crap they just crammed this thing with.
Yeah.
It's absolutely insane. But the one mini game in Saga that I really spent, I think, the most time playing was actually the casino.
Yeah. The
yes.
poker.
Yeah, the video
Poker.
poker.
Yes.
Because that, in my opinion, was one of the best ways to get money in that game. And I think I remember reading a strategy guide at the time, and they straight up said, like, the video poker in Xenosaga Episode 1 is rigged in your favor. Huh. And I think they might be somewhat right, because, like, I feel like anytime I've ever lost money in that poker, I always, like, gained it, like, double, like, the next round. It was always kind of weird like that.
Finally, really someone lets me win.
Yeah, so maybe I just had incredibly good luck, but like I never felt like I needed to save scum with it. It always kind of benefited me. But it is kind of neat because like the casino will give you some cards for the card game, and I think it also gave you some sketches for you to unlock or something like that.
Yeah, there was a lot of artwork to unlock through it. There was also the slot machine.
Yeah,
as
I was
well.
just about to mention the slot machine. You got your normal slot machine. And yeah, so you get slot machines, you get the video poker. If you're playing Xenosaga and you need some money, I highly recommend playing the poker game because you can get a lot of money very quickly that way.
And I guess that moves us to the drill game.
The only game that you have to play.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
As someone who
I like the drill game because I like crane games.
Yeah, exactly.
A crane game.
Yeah.
I always forget about this mini game.
Somebody
I
who
kind of
likes
forgot
crane
about it
games.
too. Maybe I was too traumatized.
Oh, this actually brings up something. If this counts as a mini game, there was something like this in Gears as well, except for it had a much worse camera.
Yeah.
Had a much worse camera,
yeah.
but there was basically a crane game also in Xenogears. And
I hated that.
I think you had to like move some cargo or something out of a room for a
something
puzzle
on the Thames.
almost, but it was basically that.
Yeah.
Except for not destructive. I don't think. No, it was destructive. My bad.
However, I think this crane game, however, had a couple modes though. There is the free mode where you can just kind of drill and you didn't have a time limit, and then I think it also had like some special missions for you to do too.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, there were like puzzles for you to solve with a drill, which those don't exist in real life.
And then you can unlock the there's like a special drill you can unlock if you won all of the missions.
Are you talking the one with Buddy?
That was the last one, I think, right?
Catch the cracked out bunny.
Mode where you just like I think there was like a timed mode where you get to break stuff and then you just get whatever prizes were inside.
I actually looked at a video on it the other day just to refresh my memory, and it was Bunny is mission 4, which I think is like probably the last mission. It was the last one on the list.
Oh, you said bunny. I thought you said money.
Yes, Money Bunny. Which the guy playing it in that video, it was pretty hilarious because like he was like, how am I supposed to catch this thing? Because it was darting all over the place like super fast, and there was no
Yeah, your drill's going like
Your drill just slowly moves down, and well, he didn't have to worry about it because he put the drill down and Bunny ran into it.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh, poor Bunny.
It just went
So
like
what I'm
splat.
reading. So what I'm reading right now is once you unlock the powerful drill, you can use it in free mode and you can use it in any of the other missions, which makes it obviously easier to clear them. But according to the strategy guide, there is a drawback to using it. So sometimes when you select that drill, the game will actually give you the weakest drill, which which will make you like use a drill that's smaller than the normal drill, and it actually makes the game harder. So there's a little bit of a risk to picking the powerful drill.
Oh wow.
Huh. They thought of
that
everything.
Is the only minigame that they do force you to play in Saga 1.
Yeah.
I don't even remember being forced to play that, though.
Oh yeah, you have to play it in the beginning to clear the bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, on Nova Glinde.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And then you get a lecture about how drills are the
That's
greatest
it.
things ever.
But are they?
There's always that one
Well,
guy.
You watched Gurren Lagann, right?
I've seen it.
I watched it and I loved it.
All right. Are we ready for Xenosaga episode 2?
Oof. Yeah.
Yeah. This one's going to be a little weird. This one's going to be a little weird.
It simultaneously had not that many and a lot.
Yeah, most of them revolved around the GS campaign, which was a collection of...
Side
how
quest.
many side quests?
Quite a lot.
36, I think. I can double check, but I think it was 36.
GS standing for Good Samaritan.
GS Saga,
Yeah.
I think it had like, wasn't it something like 40? So it was a decent amount.
Stands for Geese. Howard.
Doesn't stand for Gish.
Yeah.
How many GS campaigns were there?
I still think it was like 50 or 52.
You might be right.
Could have
Let me
sworn it was
check.
around 30, but yeah, you might be right.
Looks like it's
Shall we take bets?
33?
Well then, I went over, so I don't win.
Wait, no, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
Oh.
It is not 33. It looks like it is
Dun dun dun.
36.
I'm still over.
I was right. I was right on the money.
But yeah, a lot of these, well, not a lot of the GS campaign missions had mini games in them, but a lot of them kind of seem to play the same, because didn't a lot of them like require the use of like the right analog stick, like the fishing and the window washing, or
Well, I
Yeah.
think that kind
Or-
of depends, because like the fishing and the window washing both use the right analog stick thing.
mm-hmm.
But like if you consider the ones where Shiana's running around doing crap as a mini game, there was that one with the mice that you chase that
Mm-hmm.
you can like set.
Oh yeah,
You can kind of set traps and you can like block off walls so that will help you catch them. But other than that, it's basically just tag from Xenogears.
Yeah.
And then the other
Except
one,
with more explosions.
yes, lots more explosions
Yes.
because that's just a map.
Like, oh, you're just knocking out the mice. Like, no, you're killing those. You're killing them.
They might have been
What?
robot mice. I don't even remember if that was.
Who
What the
makes
fuck?
robot mice?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'm looking at GS campaign number 35. It's
Mhm.
called Rooftop Handyman. I do not remember
Yeah.
this one. And apparently, in this one, you had to repair this roof by
What
using a frying pan to
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
pound
that checks.
nails.
For a
I do
drying
not
pan.
remember this.
Oh my
I don't
god.
It
either,
was-
but yeah, that checks. That's how home repair works. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
And it
I
was-
think that's the part why I kind of liked Xenosaga 2 a lot, because there was a lot of side quests that were kind of ridiculous and had these ridiculous minigame parts. Except I don't remember everything from it because it's been too long. But yeah, oh my god.
And it was kind of weird because there were some of those mini games where it's like, oh, only guys can do this, or only girls can do
Yeah, like
this,
the
and
window
it's
washing.
yeah, it's like only women can do window washing. It's like, oh, this is weirdly sexist, but
Yeah,
okay.
they like, oh, men are too brutal. They can't. They break the window, and I'm like, I get it. If like you're looking at Ziggy, you might go, Ziggy, you might break this window. If you're looking at Chaos, you're thinking I could throw you at this window and we'll be fine.
Cosmos literally threatened to destroy a window in episode 1.
No chaos. would
But
touch
the
window and
person
it
giving
would
the
turn-
quest
would
was not
fade
present
out.
for that, so
True.
Also, like,
Still, I look at Cosmos, gonna think this person will break my window. I look at Chaos, and I'll think I can throw him at it, and we're fine. Junior, Momo, both of them can throw out a window. Window's fine.
Chaos did say failure to comply will result in the destruction of this window. So, or not Chaos, Cosmos. Did I say Chaos?
Yeah.
Remember when Chaos threatened a window?
Yeah. Remember Chaos?
Yeah,
did that?
seriously.
No, he
That
just
sounds like chaos.
he just faded a gnosis.
Always threatening them
It's
windows.
out of
just something you
existence.
can do.
It's just a thing. Yeah.
So
Like-
on a side note,
Also-
this isn't minigame related, but I'm looking at the GS campaign strategy guide.
Mhm.
According to GS campaign number 34, Militian Romance, the best date spot is actually second militia.
That one threw me off. Actually,
the
I
entire
failed
thing?
Yeah,
it. It was like
that's the answer.
I thought
It's
it was
like
like
saying the best date spot is like Italy. Like that's not an answer. You didn't answer my question.
I think that there were 3 choices in that, and like the one there was like a bar, second militia, park or something else.
2 of those are locations. Those should have been the answer.
Yeah, anyway,
Yeah.
I got it wrong. I remember that because I failed the mission, and he didn't get his date, and I'm like, well, you know what? You didn't deserve it. It's like, if you think the place you choose is going to affect whether that works out or not, you know, you can just live with your little problems there.
I feel like I'd be less likely to accept a date from someone if they said, "Do you want to go to entire planet?" I'd be like, "No, no, I don't."
Could you be a little more specific?
Is that the junk
Would you like to go
planet?
to Earth?
Like an
Would you
alien
like
trying to
go
ask somebody out on a date?
expedition?
Oh, there was also that bookstore puzzle at Jin's house where you do the
Oh,
sliding.
yeah.
But,
That one was
yeah.
kind of hard. It was.
Oh yeah,
Oof.
None of us are
I'm
sliding
never good
puzzle.
at those kind of puzzles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always end up raging and just like randomly sliding stuff, hoping it'll work out.
That's how you start, and then you
Same.
figure it out.
I want to take
That's kind of how I was in the Xenogears card game. Just run the cards. It's like, this will work.
I mean, that is a strategy. Like, you kind of look and see, alright, 5 cards ahead, this one might be useful, so let me just keep spamming it.
To go back a
also
little
a,
bit, it's funny that window washing one is girls only, because it's like a guy is the one who's like, but you can't beat my window washing time, and so they're like, why are they saying, oh, a guy can't do this?
Actually, maybe it is sexist, because what he's saying is, like, oh man, any single dude would definitely beat my record, but a woman...
Oh, okay, yeah, it works that way too. True.
It works, like, at least almost make... I mean, it's still sexist, it just...
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah,
just weird.
It is.
Yeah.
Like, no, Ziggy, you can't wash these windows. I've seen your biceps. You will clean them immediately.
Well,
For some reason, I just got reminded of that meme ad. Sometimes you just need 2 men.
yeah.
We are men. We are burly.
What if
Speaking
Ziggy...
of Ziggy, there's a really cute picture of him fishing in this guidebook.
Oh, there
Oh,
it is.
nice.
That's cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, I think only guys can fish, or
I don't know.
I can't.
Only guys
I
can
don't-
fish. Wow.
I imagine Ziggy just washes windows by like ramming his foot against it at high speed, like that one attack, but with a cloth on
He
the
vibrates the dirt off of them.
but like with a wet cloth on the bottom of his foot, and is just like does the fire kick thing, except for on a window. It's
Does the
clean. No,
window
it's in
survive?
pieces, but it's clean.
His foot just becomes a Swiffer.
Swiffer foot.
Swiffer mode activated.
Oh my god.
What are these
Like,
new
I have a
upgrades you've
terrible
given me?
mental image right now. I'm just like, why?
Was it absolutely necessary to put a vacuum cleaner in me?
Heyo!
But
Alright, is there any other
there was a
GS cam?
There was like
Uh-huh.
the
there was a power
fishing.
plant thing where you had to restore the power and like go around the puzzle of some kind of like
It's kind of an obstacle course.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's not quite a puzzle even as much as it's just like, hey, can you time getting on these treadmills with not hitting electricity?
Exactly.
It was just an example of Xenosaga's really bizarre architecture where it's just like, how did the employees function in this building?
This is going to be weird sounding, but it actually kind of reminded me of a shrine in Zelda Breath of the Wild, because you go down into like this thing that's underground, and there's like all these little, not quite puzzles, but like it's like this obstacle course, and it's a little bit like a maze, and you gotta kind of find your way through, and the only difference is you have a time limit. But it really reminded me of
that's
that.
a good comparison. That's a really good comparison.
Yeah, but at least that is meant to be a trial, and not just like, welcome to work, Bob. Can you go run through these conveyor belts? Watch out for the electricity.
Well, see, the thing about that is, in the Good Samaritan campaign where it's issued to you, basically the guy is like, well, I work here, but I think it's too dangerous to me. And he's like this buff dude, too, which is hilarious. I'm just like, dude, you can't do your own job? You want Shion to go down there and do this for you? This is your job, man.
Yeah, but I feel like OSHA is not really an active thing in Xenosaga, and maybe that should be the entire plot of Xenosaga 4.
OSHA got lost in space, just like everyone who's involved with OSHA. They got on the wrong ship.
Bye, OSHA.
Hey, where'd OSHA go? Weren't they supposed to meet us here? Sure, maybe.
The other immigrant fleet is just OSHA.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Ziggy is not OSHA compliant.
Aside from those, I don't fully remember within the campaign if there is like any others that had mini games. But during the entire like story of Xenosaga 2, there was also a number of like puzzle games within dungeons and stuff like that, or whether puzzles to solve.
Yeah,
they were really hardcore at it, to be honest, in this game.
There were
most of those did occur in people's place of work, so
yeah,
there were some I was surprised
it's like,
weren't.
How do they function? Like you said, like how do they get from point A to point B? It's like, oh no, I have to do this puzzle again. It's just...
morning, Tom. I see you're pushing the blocks again. Yeah, I just need to go use the restroom. Do you have the red key? I got the blue one if you got the red one.
Somebody locked the back door again, so I have to go through the damned puzzle.
It's horrible when we think about it. It's like that Horror Stronghold. There was so many puzzles in that one. I'm just like, oh my god, like, imagine the employee of that place. How horrible their life must be.
Hey, if you think about it, video game puzzles would be like some of the best home security. It's just like, hey, you want to go in that house and steal some things?
Well be a block puzzle.
Beat this block puzzle.
I wouldn't even be able to make it to like the bathroom in the morning. Oh my god.
And wasn't there like when was it blowing up? We blew up something. It was the Orma Stronghold, and there was like an elaborate puzzle to like turn on the self-destruction.
You have to count lights. I mean, it's not the worst, I guess, but man, it was something. It's kind of like there's a light count, and you've got to like switch tracks for them.
Yeah, basically, it has to blow up in the middle all at the same time from all the sides, which is kind of hard.
Which I guess for like doing a self-destruction, you would want it to be complicated so that someone doesn't accidentally trigger it.
Whoops!
But boom.
But yeah.
Well, shall we move on to the one and only minigame in Xenosaga Episode 3?
Yes, please, because I love this
Ruined
one.
my life.
Hackox.
Is there a need for me to do this?
Take that! Okay, here we go!
Yes.
Which I always feel weird saying that.
I guess the way it's written, it should be Hackox?
Yeah, it wants you to think that because it's like exclamation point, then question mark.
Well, it's weird because the Japanese version was called like what, G-Mix or G-Mix or something like that.
I always read it as
Gimmicks.
Like it was it was like the whole game was a gimmick.
Oh, is that?
Oh, it's like, then why didn't I don't understand why they changed the name.
That sounds like the name of Disney Channel's anime block or something. Gimmicks.
Hackox. It says surrealistic puzzle action. Because that's what it is. I don't know.
I mean,
it sounds like a Hideo Kojima game.
That's
it's
fine.
exactly what they were going for.
It looks like Cyberspace
No
Captain Toad Treasure Tracker to me.
In
So
a
I
way,
hated
it
this
kind
game.
of is.
What is it?
Yeah, would anybody would like to explain Hackox to everybody?
Please.
Okay.
All right, I can. Who wants to do this?
It's been a bit too long, so I think I'm gonna give that to
I can
someone
explain
else.
a little bit. I can explain a little bit of it. So since I was just playing it a few moments ago, so Hackox is kind of like if Captain Toad Treasure Tracker was mixed with something like Choo Choo Rocket, or even kind of Lemmings too. It's like one of those kind of games where you have characters that will run around this maze, and you have to guide them to a particular checkpoint. And you can have up to, I think, 4 colors. 4. Yeah, it's 4. Yeah. You have 4 characters, and each one gets assigned a different color. Mm-hmm. And you want to guide them to a particular checkpoint for their respective color. And the mazes themselves have gimmicks and all these weird blocks that you can move with the PlayStation 2 face buttons. And they get a little bit more complicated with it. Some of the puzzles, they start off very simple, and then they get really like insane, where the game is very active. It's not like one of those puzzle games where you can kind of just sit down and take your time. No, this game moves in real time, and there's a lot of timing involved. Some of the tricks that you got to do to move your characters a certain spot is kind of ridiculous. Like, there's ways you can make them jump if you hit a block in the right way.
Yeah, it's
you can also make them. Yeah, completely.
Yeah, that's what fucked me up.
You can also make them run.
Here.
Yeah, sometimes you have to watch out for like 2 characters moving at the same time, which is really confusing.
Nice.
And you can make your characters run, and also, and this is actually important for some of the levels, if you manage to get, I think like more than one character, if you manage to have more than one character reach their checkpoint at the same time, you get a bonus. So the reason that's important is because each level, you only have a limited amount of characters. So let's say you have 3 characters, but you need to get 5 characters to a checkpoint. So you essentially want to chain those characters so that you can gain extra characters by chaining them. So you gotta think ahead. A lot of trial and error with this one. But the real a joy to this game. The best thing about it is that you can play as a lot of different characters in this.
Oh, yes.
Like, you can select Albedo if you want. You can select, like, Mary, Shelly. There's all sorts of characters you can play. And
Assistant Scott.
Miyuki, yeah. I think Matthews is also selectable.
Yeah,
the entire Elsa crew is there.
Character models, I think, are available.
Oh, wow.
Except apparently for Cherenkov, who I remembered being there, but that was incorrect.
Well, it's
even Cherenkov got left out.
Because Xenosaga 3 has a model viewer. I think most of the main characters that are in that model viewer are in the Hackox game that you can play.
I usually had Shion Cosmos version 3, Albedo, and Chaos, I think.
What I really like about this game, and I know like when a lot of people talk about it, like to meme it up, but like they really went the whole extra mile with this game.
They did.
Like,
like they did put like a lot of love in it.
Like there's
and you can create stages.
Yeah, you can create stages. You can play with another person. You can. So like
it's 4 players.
It's crazy.
Oh my god.
You can play as a lot of characters. There's a lot of different modes. There's a lot of stages too. I think there's 6 worlds, and there's a whole bunch of stages in each world, and they get very, very difficult. Yes. But one of the funnier things about the game is, you can ask for help. There's a help button, so every time you press like the help button, a little message will come up. but like the messages that they give you aren't even related to the game itself. It's like a lot of like troll stuff. Like there's some that says, "Oh, why don't you try making music with the blocks?" There's like stuff like that.
Brush and floss daily.
Brush and floss daily. There'll be one that says like only play an hour a day. There's all like sorts of weird messages
like
in
Fortnite,
there.
Brush and floss. No.
But yeah, completing all the stages will get you Ziggy's swimsuit.
And
Yeah.
that's
The ultimate
why I
prize.
hate the game.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, where are the cons at?
Reward. What are the
And
cons?
And you can also get Junior's best weapon through this as well.
Hearing the pros.
I didn't care about that. I wanted the swimsuit. I didn't want to finish the game till I had the swimsuit. But also, my brain does not work in 3 dimensions, and this game was hell.
I actually really enjoyed this. Like, I thought the tutorial kind of was like nice and easy. It ramps up kind of quick,
it
but
was.
Yeah, it does.
And then it's like you have to turn the stage. I'm like, all right, I'm out.
yeah, it's if you don't have like relatively decent 3D reasoning, it's pretty hard in some in some spots, especially since it makes you like think in like more than one level most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. I know I had a lot of fun with it, but like the only thing is that it's been so long that I don't remember how much of it I played, but I do remember I played it a lot and was frustrated often.
Yeah. I do like that, like, all of the characters, in addition to, like, how many characters they all had voiced lines. Like,
yeah, that was the
unique
best part
lines
too.
for the
The
game.
voice lines
For
were
falling
awesome.
off the cliff.
Yeah.
My existence is infinite!
I just
the
want to
toad
add
sound.
though,
Winning,
like,
spawning, falling.
there was someone on Twitter that wrote something else for Xenosaga 3. I think it was a Elandrog. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce it, but they said that Xenosaga 3 had the best minigame, and that was the zipline in Dabre Mine.
Yeah.
And they said that it was the equivalent of speed of, like, I am a man of the sea card game in Xenogears.
Huh.
So
Yeah, the zip line.
yeah, it was really slow. Like, I actually went back to check it while you guys were talking, because I was like, wait, what is that? Because I did not remember it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I don't remember that at all either.
It's basically, in a mine, whenever you're, thing is, I'm kind of, I don't know if I want to mention anything, because...
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Because
that's right.
radio has not gotten there yet, so I was just like, how do I say this without saying any spoiler?
Oh, I wasn't listening. Sorry.
Mute your headphones.
Okay. But yeah, basically it's in a mine where you meet this robot that's a big gear reference.
Yeah, okay, I know
go.
what you're talking about.
Well, I mean,
so
if I
there
need
we
to
go.
go
I think
for a
that's
moment.
enough without saying any spoiler for people to catch on which one I'm talking about. But yeah, so that was mentioned, so I thought I would bring it. But aside from that, I don't see anything else in Xenosaga 3.
All right. Did anyone like create any levels in the Hackox, or?
If I did, it would have been a straight line, and I would have been very proud of myself.
Let's make it easier for the workers, guys. It has to be straight lines, and like they have to be able
With
to go to the
guardrails.
restroom.
You know, unfortunately, I have not, and I think the reason why is because I played this Hackox like at the wrong time of my life. When I first played Hackox, like I wasn't really like super into that kind of minigame. Whereas like as I've gotten older, I love puzzle games. I love games that let you like create stuff. So I feel like if I had played Saga 3 today and I had that game, I probably would spend a lot more time. And even just now when I was playing it again, I was getting really hooked and really into it. So I think this is the kind of thing where if I played this today, I probably would spend hours on end playing it. But back then, unfortunately, I just wasn't interested.
I'm kind of tempted to just boot the game afterwards and try it again.
Go for it. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I was having a blast when I was just playing
It's
it.
fun.
It is. I remember it
Yeah,
was
it's
both fun and frustrating at the same time.
Yes.
But yeah, I guess that's
All
it
right.
for Xenosaga. Should we move to Xenoblade?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
move on to Xenoblade Chronicles 1, which is going to be another weird one too, because so there's not exactly mini games, but I guess you could kind of call them mini games, like the core forging, I guess.
That's the only one
Yeah.
I can think of that I would
They
call
say
that.
words in it. It's different from normal gameplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the only one I could think of that would really
Well, it's like
qualify as a minigame,
time
even though
button
it's not
presses.
really. Yeah, it's not really quite a minigame, but kind of is. It's one of those borderline ones.
I never knew what I was doing. I just was like, whatever, Shulk Rain, go. Yeah, to me, to you, go ahead, fine, whatever. I don't know what's
If
happening.
I remember correctly, wasn't it kind of like you time the button presses whenever it gets into the certain thing on the meter, kind of like a Mario Golf
Yeah.
or something?
Yeah.
Maybe I never understood what I was doing.
Yeah, I just kind of threw cores in and just see what happened.
Yeah,
Yeah, about the same here.
I just, made them go real fast.
I love watching anime characters do weird things to machines that don't exist. Like,
Basically,
Oh, like when
don't
they're
they
just sitting
like,
there
kinda
around the
don't
furnace
they just
and
like
cheering.
cheer it and like kind of
Kinda.
squat and stuff? I don't know.
It just
they
looks
do a
like-
bunch
Yeah, they're
of
just
weird
kind of-
stuff.
Supportive of the machine.
it just
Like,
looks
"Go,
like
machine,
Ryan
you
is
can
like
do it."
squatting up and doing squats beside the machine while Shulk feeds stuff into it or something like that.
That's how
a great
that's how it
bro
works. You do
bonding
squats to power it.
All right, Shulk, keep it going.
To me, to you,
To me.
Oh my god.
Great game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Well, in that case, should we move on to Xenoblade X?
I guess.
Did it have mini games? Then yes.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
Well,
Because you had these time attack mini games that you could play online with other people.
well, I mean, it was. I guess it's only really. It's not. I guess the only reason you're able to call it a mini game at all is because it's a timed mission. But other than that, it's just a mission. You fight things before the time runs out, and that's kind of.
Yeah, but it's still set up a bit like a mini game, sort of. It's just.
I guess we could
They
say that.
they
with-
did more of that so that people could play together, had some kind of online playing thing.
Yeah, the only thing I could think of would be the Navlink, the mining for Uranium, because since its mechanics are a little bit different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
It's
that's more of a
kinda
side-
not-
Feels more like
at
a
the
side
same time.
mechanic that kind of plays
Yeah.
into the
Yeah.
larger whole. Whereas I
Yeah.
guess at least the time attack, even though it's just fighting with the same gameplay that's in the game, it's like there are set
Yeah.
there are other rules put into place on it, and it's in a different the zones aren't zones that you're just going to come into contact in the overworld necessarily,
Mhm.
or they're like those but revised a little bit. Like they've all got different settings on there, and they're outside of the main game technically. So I guess that in that way you could say that they sort of are. But
Yeah, this
not going to have time to explain how they work if you don't know how the combat works in Xenoblade Chronicles X, because it is complex whenever you get really into it.
Yeah, the Xenoblade series kind of took a snooze on minigames until
Yeah.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
You know, what would have been really cool about Xenoblade Cross is if they touched up the mechanics when you're in the drive mode for the
Scales.
If
Mm.
they had done that and then
Race
added
modes.
a racing mode, that would have been really sweet. Actually,
That was actually
Yeah, that would have been fun.
something that I wanted to talk about on this episode was after we went through these was maybe talk about, hey, what do we feel like were missed opportunities for potential mini games in these games?
Dream minigames.
And-
Yeah, I
that'd
think Xenoblade Chronicles Cross definitely could have benefited from a racing game. How cool would it have been if you had tracks where you ran around Mira and you could switch between modes on your scale? You could have some races where you're driving, then you have races where you're flying, and then
Yeah.
you have races where you have to do
Yeah.
both
Yep.
of them.
But
That would have been really
also,
cool.
They could
That
have
would be
brought
cool.
back the the Battlefield one.
Yes.
Because, I mean-
I was just thinking about that. Yeah.
I mean, you were in Max,
But I guess-
there was online. You could have played online against other people.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been fun, and like, I'm not at all criticizing that, except story-wise, it wouldn't have made sense just because they're like, our skills are so valuable, of course they wouldn't want them just punching each other.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But story
But-
segregation aside, yeah, that would have been a lot of fun.
Battle bots.
Just increase my insurance.
But yeah, that would
Every
be...
time I ran out of insurance, I just gave it to one of my party members and got a new one.
I'm pretty sure there are other ways that they use scales in that game that they probably could have treated them better. I bet there's something that contradicts the whole, oh, we wouldn't just crash them into each other, but I can't think of it right at the moment.
I mean, the gameplay didn't really lend itself well to that,
No.
but I am saying that for story reasons, them not having a battle mode does make sense, although it would have been a lot of fun, and I would have just been like, it's funny how this doesn't make sense with the story, and ignored it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, not to backtrack a little bit, but for like Xenoblade Chronicles 1, since there's going to be the definitive edition, is there a mini game for that game that you was like, hey, they should add that to Xenoblade Chronicles
Catching
1?
dragonflies.
Oh my god.
Should we finish up Xenoblade 2 and then go back to this?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry, no, I'm not trying to be obnoxious.
No,
I'm just
you're
succeeding
not.
at it.
You're fine. You're fine. But yeah, so yeah, I guess the only time where it seemed like there was more of an emphasis was Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Yeah, you have
I
the
guess
salvaging, which is pretty big through the story.
So the big one would be Tiger.
That too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Tiger. So that starts off as something you unlock rather early on in the game. Inside Tora's little house, he's got an arcade machine, and apparently I believe he said it's a game that he used to play as a kid. And when you select the game has a hardware check similar to what you see in many arcade machines when you boot them up for the first time, which is a cute little touch. And it's presented like a retro game, like a nice 8-bit game. It even has kind of like a faux CRT filter too, just to like kind of make it seem authentic. And basically, Tiger is this mini game, this 8-bit game where you play as a Nopon and you're trying to get all the way down to the bottom of the sea so you can grab a piece of treasure and then bring it back up. And along the way, you can fight all these aquatic creatures that can come and attack you. There's all sorts of other obstacles and one-hit deaths. And the game scrolls automatically, too. So everything can make you take damage. There are little power-ups here and there, like little power-ups to replenish your air/health gauge. There's also power-ups to make you invincible. But the main reason why you're doing this minigame is because it unlocks ether crystals and parts for the Poppy.
Yep.
So when you're doing some Poppy swap, you can get all sorts of little upgrades for her, and some of them are really insane. And that's what makes Poppy probably one of the better blades in the game, because the stuff that you can get from playing Tiger is absolutely ridiculous.
You can kind of equip her with anything.
And there's a lot of different stages. There's, I think, 5 stages, and there's 5 stages, and when you finish a level, there's all these different bonuses you can unlock. You can do no-hit bonuses. You can do all treasure bonuses. I think there's a bonus for killing every enemy in the game or in that stage. And then I think you even get a bonus if you manage to collect every single bonus in a level. I think you can get like one final one as well.
If I remember it correctly, I think you're right. It was all treasure, no hits, kill all enemies, all the gems, like the money that you collect in there.
Yeah.
And then the last one is just like you do everything and you get an extra bonus just for completing all the other prerequisites to that.
Mm-hmm.
And you can kind of cheat with the no damage one, because if you get the heal, like if you take damage but then you do unlock the heal item, that still counts as no damage.
And also if you go into easy mode, you can just phase through walls.
Yeah, I was just about to mention this. So when Xenoblade Chronicles 2 first came out, a lot of people complained about it because it was very easy for you to take damage. All the walls that came, you just took damage just by tapping them. So it was incredibly easy for you to ruin your run just by coming into contact with a wall.
Especially when you put treasure on those walls.
Mm-hmm. because some of the treasures were very close to them too. So it was very easy for you to take damage.
Yeah.
And so after one of the updates, they introduced easy mode where you don't have to you don't take damage if you run into a wall.
Yeah,
Now,
I
what
was
makes
glad.
I
Yeah.
used it.
Yes.
Same.
Now there are, like I said, there's 5 stages, but you actually don't have to play every stage if you're just trying to grind up Poppy. In my experience, most of the stuff that you really want for Poppy, you can get in the first stage, which is the easiest one.
Yeah, I just went back.
And if you're looking for a quick way to gather ether crystals, each stage has a special hidden room. So, and they're in different locations because each level has a couple layouts to it. And based on the layout you have, some of them have secret areas. And if you know where to find them, you can be warped into the secret area where a bunch of ether crystals will rain on you, and you have to try and catch them. Yeah, that's pretty much an overview for Tora. It is kind of the bane of a lot of people's existence when it comes to Xenoblade 2, but it is absolutely worth checking out if you want to build up your Poppy.
Yeah, I was pretty bad at it, so like I never really bothered to like train Poppy so much, and eventually when you get like Morag, I was just like, I just want to keep Morag with me as my tank. I don't want to take Poppy. But yeah.
Yeah, I used to play it a lot on my commute. Like I would be on the bus and I would just play Tiger. I also used to do the salvaging a lot. Like I remember I had some trips where I would just salvage because it was such an easy way to make money in that game. Because
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
I made a fortune trying to get crystal for Cosmos.
Trying to get that math.
Like, yeah, I pretty much just like grinded the shit out of salvaging just to get core crystal to hope to get Cosmos, and it took forever, but I got her. But yeah, the salvaging though was pretty fun per se. Like I was really into it. Every time there was a new salvaging place, I would be like, "Oh, new salvaging place! I wonder what I'm gonna get there and how much money I'm gonna make." So I would often just go there and do a bunch and get lost into it for a bit.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is truly a game for ravenous collectors and gamblers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip.
I thought that like I had to salvage at every point or it wouldn't save on the map, so I was just like, oh, time to salvage. It's not like, like the burden. Oh no, I had to do button prompts.
Some of those I mainly salvage in Gormat, that first one, and Torigoth, because I think that like it didn't really matter where you salvage. I mean, obviously you would get like different items. But I felt that Torigoth's button prompts were very easy, so I just kind of did that one, and I was still able to make like a lot of money just by
if you're just after the money, like I don't think it matters too much. Except there may be some spots that give higher tier, but the button prompts are so like much harder that it's not really worth it.
The button prompts are harder.
That's not usually what you're there for anyway. And like, I remember, for instance, the secret area in More Ordained, and it was just like hellish button prompts.
Oh god, yeah. But I did a lot of my core crystal farming in More Ordained.
Yeah, that's where I'm core crystal farming right now for my last 2 blades.
Yeah, honestly, that place in More Ordained is the best place for that because there's a lot of little crabs that comes up.
On the docks,
a lot of crystals, so...
Yeah, the, like, first salvage point that you see in More Ordained on the docks.
Yep, that's it.
But what I was going to say about Tora is, I guess it's technically a spoiler for later in the game, but... I had a lot of fun just dragging Jin over and being like, look at this cool video game, Jin!
See, that was one of the best parts about Xenoblade 2 was taking Jin on vacation and just like having him go to like Rex's hometown.
I'm kind of sad I did not think of doing that because I was so much in the story that I just like went through it and I did not think of like going outside the place with Jin.
I was just like, Jin, you're stuck with me now. We're going on a tour.
That's exactly what I did. It was great.
Just watch me play Tiger.
Oh man, that reminds me of that. Like, some of the stuff he says on that part where you have him in your party, too, is just so great. So you imagine him saying, like, something brutal and bloodthirsty and then take him to play at the arcade game.
Or just have him, like, start, like, harvesting, like, plants and stuff. It's really funny. I know I have some screenshots of him doing that somewhere.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, you'll have to send me those.
Yes.
I could. Yeah, you can send me those, and I can put them in the YouTube video.
I definitely have screenshots of it. I gotta see if I can find it. I have my Switch next to me.
Insert Ziggy voice. Do I really have to keep doing this?
I think that Jin said stuff like, more calf before the slaughter, or something like that, after he was done. Why? Because there's that one, oh man, that might actually kind of count, is the Jin mode in the Land of Challenge, where you just play as him solo and have to take out like 100 Ardenian soldiers.
I love that.
That was so fun.
It
Very
was.
The Land of
I played
Challenge
it way too
actually
much.
is pretty much should be counted as a mini game because I mean,
Yeah.
you're basically doing challenges that are pretty challenging to the point that I will say it and be probably ashamed, but like I pretty much put all my settings to easy because I was like, nope.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No,
No,
I can't.
I wanted the blades. I
just want my friends.
Exactly. I'm like,
Exactly.
I want to hang out with Shulk, Fiora, and Elma, and I will cheat to do it. I don't care.
I would not have been able to get Elma if I didn't change
To be honest,
the
even on
difficulty.
easiest setting, Alma still managed to kick my ass once. I was just like, what?
Oh yeah,
And I
that
thanked
was
her.
ridiculous.
Yeah. It was crazy. Like, if I didn't have Cosmos to heal me, like, forever, like, that would not be working. Basically, I was using Zeke and Cosmos as a main in that battle, and I was just being the healer of the party. And being the damage dealer at the same time. Because Cosmos. Hellbird effect! Yay!
Hilbert effect saved my life so many times in Xenoblade
Oh
Chronicles
yeah,
2.
it's great because it hits all the enemies and it heals you, the whole party at the same time.
It was
It's
my
just-
heal.
Yeah,
Some of those longer
it's
boss
my
fights.
main heal too. It's crazy. But yeah,
Love
I
that
guess-
you could pull off that full blade combo with just Jin in that mode too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's part of why I took him on tour. I'm like, I need to do this more to like make
yeah,
Poppy
but that's
happy.
what's satisfying about Jin is that you can't do that whole blade combo. It's so badass and amazing. But yeah.
And then you can take him to play Tiger Tiger.
Can I have a sucker
Like,
too?
hey, let's take a break, Jin.
I don't know. I would imagine him to just lose patience and break the machine, but
Wretched
or just
machine.
walk away and
Can
say
we go
something
back?
bloodthirsty or something. I don't know. But yeah, I guess this makes us reach the end of the actual mini games, but we could go back to the what we would have wished, like Radio said earlier, even though we did a bit of that
Yeah.
with X. But
Yeah.
Okay, so should we just like start at Gears and go down again?
I guess.
Sure,
I
yeah.
guess. Although
Okay.
Gears kind of had quite a few
Gears is
already.
perfect.
Yeah.
Next to
Gears is
game.
perfect.
Actually, I want to bring up
Gears
something
is
about
perfect.
Gears that I think is a missed opportunity because there
Mhm.
are so many men of the sea in Gears, and we go through that game and there's no fishing minigame, but then you get to Xenosaga 2 and they have a fishing minigame, and then they step it up further in Xenoblade Chronicles 2 by having a salvaging thing. And it's like, there should have been something like involving the men of the sea doing their men of the sea things.
Yeah, that could have been fun.
I'm so glad that name's just picked up.
That isn't just a card
The
game,
Man of the
which
Sea.
is great, but
When my friend watched me play through that game, that was his favorite part. He just remembers Xenogears by Men of the Sea.
It's a good
Every
part.
time Radio cosplays this part, he has to pull that line up. It's so funny.
Does he spin in a circle to like simulate different camera angles?
I wish I had, but I'll do that next time.
Yes.
I did a Bart
You'll
Missiles picture.
see us do it at Katsu if you want, because we're bringing them.
Yep.
Nice. I wish I was better at cosplay. I could cosplay as Jessie, I guess. I don't know.
I didn't do a whole lot on that. Well, I mean, I did some of the parts, but like the jacket was so hard, I actually had it commissioned. So or the
Yeah.
vest.
I still have to get all of the parts. I just have I have a Scott wig.
Sadly, though, the jacket does need some small repairs.
They're not that bad. It just needs
Yeah.
some glue.
It's basically the round rivets things. Like, some of them unglued themselves, and we have to glue them back.
His robot circles on his jacket.
But yeah, I guess aside from that in Gears, I don't really see what else could have been used, because I mean, there was already a mech battle that was pretty much perfect. I think the only missing opportunity is that you didn't really have something to go back to it quickly to have it like kind of available.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah,
the fact that you had to backtrack to the city to play it is kind of like, I don't know, it's easy to miss it.
Yeah, that you didn't know it was
yeah,
there.
exactly.
Is kind of
And it's what
annoying.
happened with me, because I was continuing the story thinking that it was just a one-time thing and I could never go back to it after the city was blown up to pieces. So...
Right.
Yeah, if you...
I think I mostly found it because I don't like when games end, so I just kind of do stupid shit to try to prolong it. So I was like, let me just wander around wherever it'll let me go, and I'm like, oh, I can go here.
Yeah.
Oh,
You
cool,
know?
I can fight.
Yeah.
Actually, I do know a missed opportunity from Xenogears. You can't play as Choo-Choo in that fighting minigame.
That is.
Oh,
Yeah.
that would have been cool.
Yeah, you can.
Oh, wait, you can.
You can?
Yes, you can.
I don't think so.
You
I didn't
totally
see
can.
Choo-Choo.
I remember
that
it
because
too
I
now.
remember the stupid noise she makes when you walk around. So let's go back to Xenogears Perfect.
Xenogears was perfect.
I didn't see Choo-Choo. I gotta check again. I didn't see Choo-Choo when I
I'm
played
pretty
it.
sure Choo-Choo was in there, but
I still remember, like, she makes a dumb noise
Yeah.
when you run around as her.
Yeah, I think Choo Choo is in that.
Oh, okay, maybe not. Okay, never mind then.
Boot up the game, try it, look again.
Yeah,
So,
I'll
yeah.
try again, yeah.
Again, Xenogears is perfect.
yeah. I like that last bit of the game, which, spoilers, obviously, but when you have the flying version of the Yggdrasil, which I believe is 4? Anyway, where it reopens the map to you, finally, and you can just fly anywhere, and that's where I think I went back and discovered all the extras in battling.
Yeah.
So mech racing in Xenogears. I'm just kidding. I mean, they ran really fast.
So Xenogears was perfect.
It is.
That's why it has perfect works. A book that my brother owns that, like, every time I go visit him, I make sure he still has it.
Yeah. And if he doesn't, you can be like, why didn't you
If he
give
doesn't,
it to
I'll
me?
be like, you didn't give that to me? Just awful.
Yeah.
He actually did give it to me once, and I thought it was such a cool gift that I felt really bad and I gave it back.
Oh no.
Aww.
And now, years later, I am forcing him to play Horna, so...
Yes.
This entire thing is just call-out post on Robin's brother.
Damn it, Robin's brother.
So...
Robin's brother's a bitch-ass motherfucker.
So Xenosaga
Alright,
1,
yeah.
I guess. Xenosaga 1... I'm trying to think,
think
but like
Xenosaga
there
1
was
was
already
pretty
so
good.
many minigames in Xenosaga 1 that
Yeah.
I feel like they did a pretty good job. Aside, I think the only missed opportunity is that, again, they weren't really, like, out there, very obvious.
Yeah, they were tucked away. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Except
If
for
they
drilling.
Didn't even know they were there for the longest
embedded
time.
them more. Yeah. Oh, which well, I forgot to mention this, but I posted on Twitter once, but for that tabletop simulator game, there is a mod where you can play the Xenosaga card
Oh,
game.
wow.
I
think
Wow.
I might have seen that, actually.
yeah,
I
I
remember
need
the post, yeah.
Yeah, I have it. I don't own that game, but I have it on my wish list. So eventually, I'm gonna try it out. But yeah,
I think I
Can
have
you
it.
make games in Tabletop Simulator? So
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, you can make
okay,
games.
so like somebody got to make like Hackhawks in there, Tabletop Hackhawks. Because is that possible?
No.
Quick no.
No. And no.
Make the Xenogears card game. There we go.
Yeah, that's just a card deck. That's just, do you
True.
have a
You could
card
do that
deck?
in
Great,
real
you
life,
did
yeah.
it.
Easy. But yeah, Xenosaga Episode 1 is pretty much perfect when it comes to minigames too, just implementation.
Needs more drill
Yeah,
games.
pretty much. I mean, the one that
Now,
was the
two.
easiest to find was the casino, but the rest was like, good luck finding them.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Xenosaga 2, that one, I don't know. I feel like it was lacking a bit.
I mean, it could have used
Yeah, I
mini
feel like if
game.
they had more games where
wasn't
they
just-
weren't so tied to the GS campaign,
Yeah.
like if you could do it outside of the campaign, and then maybe like some of the time in the campaign they'd be like, also, can you solve this block puzzle? And you'd be like, yes, because I've been doing that in my free time.
I also
So-
feel like Xenoblade 2's apparent lack of minigames is kind of just a consequence of the overall brevity of that game in general.
Yeah,
It's like a 20-hour game, I think, and most of it
Xenosaga
is
2.
just important story. Yeah, Xenosaga
Yeah.
2.
yeah. There's so much stuff where I'll like be like, that was in 2, and then realize, no, wait, that was
Okay, so
Yeah.
I have a take on this actually that I just kind of thought of, and it's because like the GS campaign is ran by Bunny, and Bunny is in just that he's a mascot character really reminds me of Mario Party in some ways. So I can just see like a bunny bobsledding minigame or something like that, and I would be happy with that. Or just bunny skiing down a hill or something like that. Make that into a minigame. I would take that.
Bunny for Sonic at the
Yes,
Olympics.
exactly.
Oh my god.
Fuck Smash. We're just gonna put Bunny in Mario and Sonic at
Bunny
the
for
Olympics.
Smash.
And freak
You're
everyone
right,
out with the head in the back.
Yeah, because that will be staring at the player as you go.
I thought you were suggesting like a Mario Party but Xenosaga themed, like Xenosaga.
That'd be
would
great
also be
too.
good.
Yeah.
I made a
Yes.
Tumblr post like that.
So you know,
actually.
like the thing with Luigi and Mario Kart, where he would turn his head and people just thought he was making like this terrible like face at them, where it was just like his normal default face just looked like menacing enough to put people off. That would be Bunny all the time,
Yeah.
where he wouldn't have to turn his head.
You're just like, oh, it's super cool that I'm playing as this cute Matt. Why is it staring at me? I don't like this.
This reminds me though, like just little thing. Whenever you go back to Melcha in Xenosaga 1, I think, like there's a big mascot of Bunny on the ground, and like you can check it, and like Shion is like, I forgot how it was like. I don't exactly know how she words it, but like she basically says how he's kind of scary.
Still freaks me out or something.
It's a secret Two-Face.
Yeah.
It still freaks her out after all this time.
Yeah.
I think that was it exactly. Almost.
Yeah. But
So
Xenosaga 3, I think, is kind of lacking a lot in the minigame department. Like, I know they have this huge one of Acox, but it would have been cool to have a few other ones, maybe.
It would have been cool if I didn't have to play Hackox to get Ziggy's bikini. That would have been real cool.
It's my
Or like,
key.
hey, play the first level, you win, you did it, here's a bikini.
I just like Hackox.
I do like it a lot, too.
I do too.
I
I
honestly,
hate it.
if they ever remastered this game and put it on modern systems, not holding out hope anymore, but still, if they did, I would like them to make homemade Hackox stages uploadable.
That would be great.
Ooh,
They probably would if they ever did it.
Yeah,
but
that would be cool.
that would be cool.
It'd be like Mario Maker, but with Hackox.
Yeah, yeah, that
Hackox
would be
Maker.
amazing.
I wonder if they added maybe a
Although
few more
I'd be
characters.
scared of what people would come up with because, oh god.
Oh yeah.
An impossible
I
polygon.
mean, there'd be like a few automatic Hackox levels,
Oh my
right?
god, these graphics.
Oh,
Yeah.
Probably like be like, oh, if you have the Shulk amiibo, you
I actually
get a
have
Shulk.
another one for Xenosaga 2, because there's a thing in Xenosaga 2 that is criminally underused, and it's the
Uh-huh.
speeder bike. So make me a mini game where I can drive that as Cosmos.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
that would
Space
have
bike.
been really
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
So racing games for everything
Dude,
seems to be what's like this.
Technically,
fun?
well, you didn't see it yet, but technically, she also has it in 3.
Okay.
So because it's the same, she's using pretty much the same font.
So there's a
I
racing
think.
game in that too.
Yeah, there should be a racing
There should
game
be.
with like Cosmos on her
Racing
back.
game and everything.
I mean, it's just got a lot of cool vehicles. What can I say about it?
Yeah, it is. It is really badass.
There should be a racing and a mech fighting game in every
There
Xeno
should-
game.
No, you know what they should do? They should do
How
a
does mech fighting work in Blade?
they should do like not a racing game, but
Buster.
like a bike mini game, kind of like an FF7.
Mm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
Would have been fun.
Or a level
She
like
would
the
like
start.
R-blade the enemies.
Yeah.
Kind of what I imagined.
Or
when
R
you
shut.
brought it up, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be cool.
A dodge the
Mm.
obstacles on a bike mini game.
So what did Blade 1 need?
Everything.
Yeah,
Oh.
like a game.
It needs a lot of, I don't know, it would be cool if they had some mini games in the new version.
There's a lot of
I
room
think-
in that game. They could do whatever they wanted.
I think it'd be interesting if it just had like a gambling game.
Yeah.
I don't like.
That's
me.
like super biased against like slot and casino games since I work
Well.
at one. So
Right, but I'm just saying, like, I feel like that's kind of missing in that world. Like, a gambling game or even a fishing game would be pretty cool.
Oh,
Fishing.
would have
Made
been
a lot of
would make
sense.
sense. Yeah, it would be.
Yeah, they love fishing.
Charlotte's
Yeah.
sniper training.
That could be cool.
That'd be fun,
That
too.
could be cool. Mm.
You know what all of the Blade games could also have, because like they do such a great job with fauna, they could have like a raise a monster thing.
I was
which
thinking
they
about that too.
Almost have in 2, just like
Yeah.
as a side quest that you can help feed an Armu and then it tries to kill you, as Armus do.
that's how I got my legendary cores.
I actually think I targeted and killed that thing by accident at the start, which was...
Oh no!
Oh,
I don't remember
Nick,
how it
no.
happened, but I was like, wait, I didn't want to kill it.
Oh my god. You killed a baby Armu, how do you feel?
Like it were like EXP. I'm just kidding.
Oh, terrible.
Awful.
Like I raked in a lot
yeah,
of
I think it would
EXP
be
for
cool
a baby
if you could
Armu.
just like raise.
Kill a piece of your soul for digital reward. Can't believe you.
It would have been so cool to like raise the engines in X. That would have been so much fun.
Oh, I know something else they should have had it. Like a ball game with Ricky.
That would be
Oh,
good.
yeah,
Yeah.
Ricky.
That'd be great.
I mean,
Also,
Play catch with Ricky. He's your
got
dad.
big wingman.
also,
Right, yeah.
I also think that Blade 2 is sorely missing a cooking minigame of some type.
yes.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. I agree.
Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Cooking Mama Edition.
Yeah, because like you have Pyra that can cook, you've got Gorg
Throw that can.
that can bake.
You have multiple cooking scenes happening here and there. It would be cool to have
Could have a-
cooking thing.
You could have a cook-off. Yeah.
hmm
There's a cook-off in Torna.
Mhm.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a mini game that you could
It wasn't
just
fun,
like.
no.
It was actually
No.
like an extra menu-based
It was just-
system for cooking in both games, really. So, but
And then Gordon Ramsay has to
they
judge.
ramped it up.
Yes.
Ramped it up in Torna.
Gordon Ramsay's an unlockable blade.
Oh my god, no.
I'm just imagining yelling at us.
You just kill a bunnet and blade. It's fucking raw! Yeah, we just killed it.
I don't even want to imagine how he would yell at Mitra. Oh god.
Just, it would be like, that's actually the secret real
Then Mitra would
tragedy.
activate the siren.
of 500 years ago. That's what actually happened.
Oh my god. But aside from that, it's only two. Trying to think of what else would have been a missing.
I would like to be able to like actually play as Siren. I mean, not necessarily
Oh,
like mech
yeah.
battles, but be able to play as Siren would have been cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have liked just more of the mechs in 2 in general, really.
Yeah, same. I think it
Mhm,
would have been cool
mhm.
to be able to get them at some point and actually go around with them or something.
Oh, I got a good one.
I mean, that's just a general missed opportunity of 2, in my opinion, that it's just like, oh, by the way,
Same.
cool giant robots. I'm like, wait, go back to those giant robots.
Come back.
No, I don't care about this world tree anymore. Tell me more about
So I
these
have
robots.
two. I have two good ones for Blade 2. So, Florence
Okay.
volleyball and Boreas bowling would be awesome.
Do I bowl with
Okay,
the entire
Yeah,
Boreas?
because he's a giant ball thing, and he can go like super.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. Like, am I just using his ball that he has because he's a
No, you
blitzball
use him
type?
because he spins really fast and.
He is a ball.
But now I need a really giant bowling pin
Exactly.
set, otherwise I'm
That's
cheating.
part of it. And then I don't know why Florin was the first one that came to mind for the orb types, but he just was. So his volleyball, because I could see him doing that. It'd be
He'd play
great.
volleyball.
That's what Xenoblade is missing. Blitzball.
Oh my god.
Nothing is missing Blitzball.
Simplicity.
Yeah, nothing.
Blitzball isn't missing Blitzball.
Fun fact, I actually
Blitzball.
enjoyed Blitzball.
I did too.
I don't
did
think I
too.
understood it well enough or something.
I
Wasn't
never
a fan.
played 10.
I think I was too obsessed of like trying to be the best on this game. I don't know. For a while until I
loved
dropped
it.
it, but yeah, it's just I know for the longest time, especially in the story, I was trying really hard to win that story tournament, but it would
Yeah.
take a lot of like tries because you had to type that jack technique and stuff. It's just like, oh my god.
People are
But
gonna
yeah.
hate me for talking shit about Blitzball, but I don't mean it. I was just bad at it, so ignore me.
I feel like if there was like just a silly scene of any of the, how do they actually call them? Not blitzballs, whatever. Any of them like just using it as a volleyball in the background would have
Yeah.
been cute.
Oh, I mean, there was that scene in Xeno's episode 1 where they were playing volleyball. They should have told that would be something they should have added was a volleyball mini game in Xeno's
forgot
Beach
episode.
volleyball.
all about that.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Holy moly.
That would have been great.
Try to take it further, thanks.
All right, I think.
I think-
Anything
Oh,
else?
yeah.
I think another
Um,
thing though with the salvaging,
yeah.
I think it would have been cool to actually swim and see the undersea.
Oh yeah.
That would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
Would have been fun, and then you could have taken Jin to do that.
Exactly.
Be like, wait, weren't we just doing? What are you doing,
oh wait,
Rex?
imagine taking Ziggy scuba diving because he's the only one outfitted for it.
Oh my god.
But,
But
like, shallow
Zeke
water
also
scuba diving.
like swims in the most ridiculous way. It would be hilarious.
The only place Ziggy belongs in that suit is in a kiddie pool. Like, that is the only place.
I don't think a lot of people would let their kids in a pool with him dressed that way. To be honest, but you know,
But a lot of adults would jump right in.
He has all the floaties. It's so funny.
the way Zeke swims is pretty good
Look,
too.
he spent years not being able to go into water. Okay, he's a little nervous now.
Makes sense. Oh, and then there's
Okay.
one other Shulk and Smash break the targets and the sandbag mini games, not in Xeno games.
That's not in a Xeno
It
game.
makes up for Xenoblade Chronicles 1 lack of mini games, I guess.
So I guess that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I'll just go over, like, because a long time ago, back in October, we ran a poll on the XenoChat Twitter page about what people's favorite minigame in the series was, and out of 85 votes, 39% went to Xenosaga Episode 3, Hackox.
Naturally.
Yes.
But it was a really
Unbelievable.
solid minigame, so I'm not even surprised.
I hate it, but I do understand, and like,
I'm just shocked we got 89 votes.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
that's
Dang.
almost 100.
Yeah.
Almost 100
Yeah, I
people
was-
are listening to this.
I was just about to
Like-
say, I can't believe we have that many people listening to
I
us.
have to
Wow.
deactivate like 70 accounts now. Hold on, give me a second.
Oh. Last I checked, we were almost at 2,000 downloads.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
I'll have to double check, but we're
That's cool.
Near that.
That's great.
that is cool.
I mean, I've already gushed about this podcast, so I won't be on the podcast gushing about it. That seems recursive.
Well, we appreciate you listening, and now as one of One of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was
One
a
of us.
One of us.
this was a
Oh, we all
blast.
made the joke.
This was a lot of fun. I like this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice and light after
Yeah.
4 episodes
Oh
of love.
boy.
7 episodes.
Well, you still haven't heard the Elma episode yet, so yeah.
Oh my god.
Buckle up, I guess.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
No?
Well.
I believe I missed gushing about Elma.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mean,
It's okay.
if you want to, you can gush about it right now for a minute or so.
No, it's
We
fine.
made some pretty good arguments for Elma.
You have 60 seconds to gush about Elma. Go.
No, it's too much pressure. I don't know her.
We're not quite 2 hours. You got maybe like 10 minutes to. As if we're
Okay. Well, I guess this is a good stopping point. Unless there's anything else you guys want to say about minigames in the Xeno series.
I think we're good.
No.
they're fun.
All right.
I'm so glad I got to name one 20 years late.
They're fun. They're games. They're mini.
All right. Well, thanks guys for joining me tonight. I really appreciate it. This was an episode I really wanted to do because mini games in the Xeno series are really fun and for the most part. But I guess we'll just go around and say if there's any social media or projects you're working on you want to plug. If you want to do the honors, Robin, you can go first.
I'm NihilismBot on most media, but on Twitter it's NihilismBot with a 0 instead of an O because I stole my name from myself.
Truly the greatest criminal mastermind of all time.
Yes, I never suspected I would have signed up for my name and then forgotten the account and then had to sign up again. So now it looks like somebody else has it, but no, it's still me.
All right.
Yeah, if you look up the name, I'm sure you'll find God knows what. I'm gonna go look up myself while we continue this outro.
Okay. Justin, is there anything you'd like to plug?
Well, recently I was on Retro Roulette when they had their Smash Bros. Tournament. And they're going to be doing a highlight reel of that real soon, and I guess you'll see me on that. So if you watched the tournament, then cool. It was a lot of fun. We had a lot of really great players, some truly incredible moments that we caught on camera. So look out for that when that comes out. And they're going all out with it, too. They're making it kind of like movie style. There's like some weird story arc that they got prepared for it, too. It's actually really funny. So check out Retro Roulette. They're a really great
Incredible
channel.
couch commentary.
Otherwise, yeah, definitely. Anthony and I, we had a lot to say about that event. It was good. It was a really good time. Also, I will be at MagFest. That's coming up very soon. I'm sure it'll be past once this episode airs, but I will be. Yeah, unfortunately, that's how it always happens. I will be at MagFest down in National Harbor, and then we'll be there again in February for the Xeno meetup. That's going to be big. Hopefully it'll be big. We have a photographer for it now, which is great. And I know we should probably update that Facebook page. Not a whole lot's been done for it since, I don't know, like I've been busy with a whole bunch of stuff. But I do want to make some updates to that really soon. And yeah, I think those are the biggest things. Robin will be there. That's a big update right there.
Yeah.
I'm an update. I just was saying, hey, I think everyone here will be there.
Yep, pretty much. Like, I think most people that are often coming back to XenoChat will be there. But yeah,
Oh, well, speaking of Mary, what do you got going on?
well, right now I technically finished this year con season with yesterday mini Comic Con that I went to, but aside from that, next year I'm going to G-Anime again. At first I wasn't sure if I was going back, but now I'm pretty sure I'm going back, so I'm going back to G-Anime, which is in January, probably about around the same time as MagFest. I'm not sure what MagFest is. And afterwards I'm going to Katsu with you guys, and then I I think next year is pretty insane because I think I have legit like almost a convention every month. But that's mostly because there's some moving cons, for example, that goes from cities to cities, like Costume Con and CupoCon, that are actually coming to Montreal next year. So that's like two that are being added, and there's also a Geek It that is also a pretty recent con from last year that are having this second edition then. So that also explains why I have so many, is because there's been a few new cons that kind of handed themselves into next year. So, but yeah, that's pretty much it for now. And for Katsu, I'm planning a full Xeno lineup if everything goes well. So, yeah, look forward to it.
Nice. All right, Nick, what you got going on?
Making some progress on my cosplay for Katsu. Really, in the very near future, Katsu is the biggest thing. I actually am still pretty behind on my social media posting, but Twitter at Nickelberg, and I'll eventually get around to posting some more of my cosplay, hopefully, on there, and not just reacting to other people's things all the time. But that's the fun part for me, you know? I have, you know...
It's nice to be reacted to.
I have some cons that I'm going to go to next year that I'm going to try my best to make it to, of course. But not like a lot more, nothing a lot bigger. I feel like it's almost going to be like lucky to even go up to a Talkathon again with the way things have been, but things are getting better there. So I'm pretty sure I will be able to.
Nice. Oh, and you started streaming Xenosaga Episode 3, didn't you?
No, I actually, well, yes and no. That was actually just my test run. I just finished Xenosaga Episode 2, and I loved it. And I just the other night actually was doing a test run of Xenosaga Episode 3, trying to get my settings right, and didn't figure out what was going on because it was mostly... It was mostly running okay, but then we had some weird lighting issues, and
it's either we have the shadow bug, Shion is a ghost, or you have these weird blurry lights happening.
Yeah.
And then there was the mirror in the middle of the screen.
That was fun. That was actually a fun little setting. But then the very next night, I jumped on and was like, maybe I'll just try this one other thing that I had an idea for. And I tried it, and it worked. So it looks like I will be streaming Xenosaga Episode 3 a lot sooner than I thought.
Oh, good.
Sounds good.
And what's your Twitch channel?
Yeah, Twitch is...
Or what, or... Sorry.
No, you're good. Twitch, it's Radio Tanuki. Just, R-A-I... my bad. R-A-D-I-O-T-A-N-U-K-I.
Nice.
I give back.
All right, David, what's going on with you?
I'm just holding out till Katsucon. Really?
Oh.
That's it.
I'm
pretty low profile, honestly.
That's okay. I don't do much either.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh gosh. Oh, I had all this build up. Now I don't. My brain just died a little bit.
Oh no. Brain, come back.
It's okay. You can edit out this brain part.
Yes. But yeah. I'm also looking forward to Katsucon because I'm going to be there as well. That's going to be fun. I write mostly news articles for RPG Fan, and we were doing a top 25 games of the decade, and I gushed about Xenoblade Chronicles 2, so that's something I did recently.
Yay.
Yeah.
Nice.
And before I forget, we on the last episode, I think when we recorded, we asked a question to our listeners. Do you guys remember that? It was for our Halloween episode.
Xenoblade, that's far.
Ooh, I don't remember the question, but I remember there being a question asked.
Was it not repeated on Twitter?
Yeah.
Or
Because I was just told.
I just brought it up, but the question was, is there a scene or moment in Xenogears, Xenosaga, or Xenoblade that creeped you out?
yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember that question.
So we actually did get quite a few responses to that. I don't know if I should just. Should I just read some of the responses, or
You could,
how
you
would you
Yeah, I
like?
think so.
Okay.
As you're leaving everyone in suspense.
Okay.
New segment.
There's yeah, all from you guys, the listeners. So one of the responses, the top one I see, was from someone named Leon_Orcott. They really love the creepiness of the Soylent Green factory in Xenogears.
Yeah.
And, well, I guess I should preface this with there's probably going to be some spoilers right here, but next, he also
Radio, avert your ears.
Oh no.
well, it's fine. It's still Xenogears spoilers, but they also
Okay.
the person also said that disc 2 of Xenogears, when everyone was like turning into monsters and eating each other,
Yeah.
that
was pretty messed
creepy
up,
too.
Yeah.
That was like one of the most, if you really think about what's really going on there, you're like, oh yeah, this is pretty
Mhm.
fucked.
Yeah. I mean, for me, just like because I was so young, a lot of the shit in Xenogears was like the first time I was seeing it, so I was like, oh my god.
Oh yeah, and then in Aaron, who was on our Ziggy episode, brought up Betty from Xenosaga episode 1. So anything involving Gnosis and body horror.
Yeah.
And yeah, Betty was definitely
It was creepy because it was like a half Moses, half human that was still kind of alive but not. It was
like I didn't know, like, was she actually still alive, or was that more of a
the way
corpse?
the way
Or
they spoke is that basically as a human she was kind of dead, but she was still kind of living and growing because they spoke about the fact that when they got her, she was only a little girl, and she kept growing to the pod thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so
I
creepy.
interpret that as like she grew from the Gnosis and like her body was being distorted, so she should be a little girl, but because of the Gnosis infection, she like her. It was more if you stretched a child than if a child grew.
Rip.
Yeah.
That's how I interpreted that.
And then Aaron also mentioned, or I guess I should say Stitch Mode. I'm sorry for using your real name, but also mentioned the flashback with Cosmos prototype, which
yeah.
Which I'm kind of surprised. Out of all the Cosmos figures, we don't really have a Cosmos prototype.
Because everyone's afraid of it.
No, that would be cool though.
Nobody wants a yandere girlfriend.
Let's see.
Yeah.
sorry.
Aside from that, yeah, there's definitely like a lot of albedo scenes that are a bit creepy, but they kind of crack me up so much that I'm just like, okay, I love this, but I don't know if I love this.
Yeah, and then
I love that you're speaking, but I hate what you're saying.
Yeah, and there was also Valkyrie and Radical D brought up like the scene with Febronia's death.
Yeah.
Along with those
Cecily and Kay.
Cecily
those
and Kath?
yeah, and the infected Realians especially were.
Yeah. But also
See.
talking about this, like the sort of weird like URTV things that we also see in Xenosaga 2, like they're so creepy. Like, you know, these monsters with the kind of blades on their arm thing.
Yeah,
the URTVs.
And especially like in Xenosaga 2, the way they introduce them, they just come out with bodies. Just, ugh.
Yeah. And then, another person, Mr. Bleshu, said that the scene where Albedo's digging graves for his brothers,
Yeah.
not that it was like horror-ish, but it was kind of creepy in a way. And
Yeah, it
I
was
kinda agree with
definitely
that.
like I was a bit
I
like
found it
what
really sad.
whenever it happened. But I still like
Mhm.
it was it was both creepy and kind of sad because you know that it was because you didn't want to be like abandoned and stuff, and at the same time you wanted to
Yeah.
prepare mentally for that day that would come. So
Yeah. And then, let's see. Well, Nick just put a picture of Dan from Xenogears.
That's right.
That's,
Well, alright, that's the scariest. We're done here.
Probably the creepiest child I've ever
Pretty
Uh,
much the "you killed my sister, bastard."
that forehead. That
That's
forehead.
scary.
I don't know why, but I would imagine Dan to like follow you with a spoon, like that spoon meme killer, being like, "You
What a
killed my
spoon?
sister."
Like a
And then-
rusty spoon or just a spoon?
I'll show you the meme later. You'll get it.
Okay.
It's a
Okay.
meme thing where like it's basically the slowest death ever, and like you have this dude following another dude with a spoon and pretty much hitting him with a spoon, like again and again until he dies.
I mean, that sounds like the sort of shit they'd pull in JoJo and then be like, it's the ultimate technique.
To be honest,
Alright.
that guy would totally fit in JoJo. But yeah, I would imagine Dan to just follow Faye with that. Like, you killed my sister! And
Alright, this will be the last one I'll read. It's from someone named Red Cavalier. They said, in Xenoblade and Satoral Marsh, there are some ruins with an item there. If memory serves well, the instant you pick up the item, giant spiders come out and attack you. That was pretty terrifying.
Yeah, I think there's like some other place where giant spiders attack you too. But I might just be still thinking about the same place.
Probably just forgot about them because giant spiders are just a huge nope.
Xenoblade
yeah.
Chronicles 2 has
Yeah.
a bunch of
Yeah.
giant
Like, remember,
spiders.
like, trying to be really stealthy and approaching the item. I'm just like, if I just inch towards this, there won't be any giant... Ah, fuck.
Alright. So is there any other questions or audience questions we want to ask for the next episode?
What minigame do you want to see in a Xeno game? Or would you think you would add to it if, like, what do you think was a missed opportunity for a minigame? Let's just ask
I
that.
guess we could ask them
Okay.
that since we kind of answered our
Well,
own
I think
with
that's kind of the thing, is
podcast.
we
Yeah.
answer it ourselves and then we pose it to the audience and see
Yeah.
what they have to add.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is interesting.
Okay, yeah, we'll ask that, and then I'll post another thing on Twitter about it, and we'll see if we can get some
Hopefully
responses
better
for it.
worded than I did.
All
No,
right.
I want that verbatim.
All right. So, okay, then for the future, I had the schedule up, but I think for right now, well, we want to do the Queer Theory episode, but it keeps scheduling keeps getting messed up on that, so I apologize that keeps getting pushed. But we're definitely doing it eventually. Probably not this year, but I mean, the year of 2019. I don't know if this episode will be up in 2020.
It won't be.
Yeah.
You're dating us. You're dating us.
No, never
I mean-
irrelevant.
I mean,
no.
this is
was
the year
recorded-
2020.
Yeah, this was recorded on the day
We're
it
in the
was
future.
released.
It's 2021. We're good.
Yeah, you know, it's one of those things. It's like I'm half tempted to say Happy New Year since this is definitely going to air in 2020, but at the same time, I feel like we have another episode that's going to come before this.
Yeah.
Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
I'm gonna try my best. But yeah, we got the Alma episode that I still haven't put out yet, but it should be out by the time this is available. And I know that we want to do the XenoChat Cafe episode in March, which will be an interesting idea. I didn't know if you wanted to discuss that, Justin, or leave it up.
So, okay, so the idea is we're going to make a Xeno pop-up cafe. So that's all I'm going to tell you.
And all right, and I know that we want to like watch the Xenosaga anime at Katsucon, but I didn't know. Did we want to record it or just kind
I
of?
think we should record us watching the first episode. I think like just that maybe because the whole thing would be pretty long.
Okay, yeah. Then we could probably treat it like a bonus episode or something like that.
Yep.
All right.
Support us on Patreon, which we don't have.
I can't wait until that just becomes a full series.
Go to a
just about
Patreon
the show.
page and support it, and I'd be like, this was actually for XenoChat.
Oh, we are a non-profit Xeno podcast.
Yeah.
You're a non-profit Xeno.
Can't wait
podcast.
for
I want
XenoChat guiding about Xenosaga the animation.
Oh gosh. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for coming out, and thanks for everybody listening. And have a good night, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
Save the game?